Nashville. Do battle tonight. We're back with the launch rounds. Team Boxing League is brought to you by Balance of Nature. In boxing, consistency beats intensity. Balance of Nature supplements help you stay consistent with ingredients of whole foods you can easily slot into your daily routine. Go to balanceofnature.com, use code TEAM, and start today. Nashville at home against Atlanta as we get set for battle here in Nashville. The TBL bell is on hand. Addison and Faith in the ring throughout the night as we get going for a battle between a pair of 1 and 4 squads. And it's also the second time that these two teams are meeting one another this season. Atlanta and Nashville taking on one another. The very first matchup of the season in week 1, Atlanta won that. They haven't won since.
Yeah, and Atlanta really dominated that contest. That was the part to me that's interesting about tonight. I mean, they really controlled things. And so for Nashville, with that taste in their mouth, even though it was a while ago, they really want to get on the board.
All right, let's get the night started. Let's introduce you to both teams as we get rolling in Nashville. Here is Ray Flores.
Welcome to the next chapter of high-impact, non-stop action. This is Team Boxing League, where every round matters and every fighter leaves it all inside the ring. TBL would like to proudly welcome New England Sports Network and Sportsnet Pittsburgh to the TBL family, marking yet another major milestone forward in the league's continued expansion and distribution. Also, each moment of TBL season airs live on MSG Network along with Envoy TV, Spanish language coverage available on Estrella TV. Welcome to the Municipal Auditorium here in Nashville, Tennessee. For tonight's Week 12 matchup between the visiting Atlanta Attack and your hometown Nashville Smash. TBL would like to thank the Tennessee Athletic Commission Executive Director, Roxana Gumico, for hosting tonight's event. Your 3 referees in charge of the action all evening long, Antonio Mohan, Danny Ziemba, and Ray Armendariz. And a big thank you to our fine sponsors, Climax Moonshine, Fire Number 32, Balance of Nature, Serenity Springs Recovery Center, and HotelPlanner.com. ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the visiting Atlanta Attack.
In come the Atlanta Attack on the road, trying to snap a 4-event losing streak. They haven't won since beating Nashville 27-12 back on March 27th. And one of the bigger questions, like we talked about, no super lightweight action tonight. That means no Ariel Davis, one of their stars. Can they overcome that loss here in their second meeting with Nashville?
Yeah, when they beat Nashville, they did it with a power. They had a number of knockout and knockdowns, and Ariel Davis was part of that.
Coach, esteemed trainer Sam Arnold. Here is the starting lineup for Atlanta. Featherweight, Chantel Sombra. Featherweight, Ray Robinson. Former California State Gold Gloves and national champion. Featherweight, Kaylee Knight. Lightweight, Trequan Pettis. Welterweight, Javon Wolf Davis. U.S. Army veteran, super welterweight, Amina Mitchell. Middleweight, Raul Garcia. Heavyweight, Samuel Clarkson. Bantamweight, Haineti Tuitupu. Lightweight, Jeremy Hill. Super middleweight, Keandre Leatherwood. Multi-time USA national champion and former Team USA member, cruiserweight, the great Money Powell. And heavyweight, Devon Young. That your starting lineup for the Atlanta Attack. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your hometown Nashville Smash.
I'm a pistol poppin', dolly riding with the stick, yeah. Bank robbing fast, trying better pull it quickly. Train hopping, bottle talking.
Nashville coming back home after losing to Miami on June the 1st, 18-9. And again, Fred Dulay's team 1-4. Trying to snap a 3-fight losing skid and a win tonight for either team. At this point in the regular season would still boost their playoff chances significantly. So a lot on the line for a pair of 1-4 squads.
The head coach of the Nashville Smash, world-class trainer, Mr. Fred Dulay. Here is the starting lineup for Nashville. Featherweight, Shelby Cannon. Featherweight, Josh Showtime Johnson. Featherweight, Jennifer Clesius. Lightweight, Ray Diaz. Welterweight, Yasir Riley. Super welterweight, Adriana Phillips. Middleweight, Isaiah Elrod. Heavyweight, Danny Barlow. Bantamweight, Bianca Ortega. Lightweight, Roger Hilly. Welterweight, Kyle Walden. Super middleweight, Juan Just Business Barajas. 5-time Golden Glove State champion, 3-time national champion, cruiserweight, D'Angelo, the Memphis Madman Leachman. That your starting lineup for the Nashville Smash. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you all please rise if you're able to as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem, being performed tonight by pop rock star from right here in Nashville. Please give a round of applause to Mystique Niles.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, and for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave, and for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Mystic Niles with the singing of our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to begin the launch rounds between the Atlanta Attack and Nashville Smash. We begin at featherweight round 1, Atlanta, Chantal Sumrall. Nashville, Shelby Cannon.
About to get underway in the launch rounds, and it just looks like if you go up and down the bout sheet, the featherweights are going to be, the success here is going to weigh heavily on the final outcome tonight. Again, no super lightweight. That means no Ariel Davis. So more added pressure to some of the featherweights on each roster here. Chantal Sumrall in the red fight kit, Shelby Cannon in the blue and yellow trunks as Nashville and Atlanta get underway from Municipal Auditorium, kicking off week 12 in TBL. Justin Shackle, Al Bernstein, Amelia Moore with you. Glad to have you with us as we continue our march to the postseason.
Both these women not super experienced at TBL. In fact, both you know, would really like to get a win here tonight. Sumrall 0-2. She lost to Natalie Castaneda in week 10 twice. And for Shelby Cannon, she's 1-2 in the TBL. So they're newcomers.
Both women similar height. Sumrall has an inch on the 5'2" Shelby Cannon. Shelby Boom Boom Cannon. Natural southpaw. Has a lot of bare knuckle experience. We're told she switches up her stance in bare knuckle. You wonder if she's as comfortable switching in boxing. Right now, standing in southpaw.
Yeah, we've seen her mostly as a lefty in what she's done here, but and she lost 2 split decisions to Samantha Sosa, who is a young lady, a 19-year-old, who's kind of getting her feet under her in TBL now.
Sumrall will be in for 2 rounds against, again, Cannon here, but also Jennifer Cautious, who you heard Amelia talk about.
Cannon with a really good right hook a moment ago, and she has tried that punch in her. She's getting
another good 3-punch combo. Yeah, another left hand that reaches in. Right hand. And another left shot in from Cannon. The connect rate climbing for Shelby Boom Boom Cannon.
Yeah, and she's very aggressive in bare knuckles, and that's an oxymoron, right, to say that. You have to be, or else you're going to be eaten up. And she's shown some of that here in this match as well, been more active than Sumrall.
There's another left hand that reaches.
1 Yeah, and there's that right hook again from Cannon. She's landed left hands and the hook, and both are getting in there.
And she comes through with the jab. So the connect percentage for Shelby Cannon climbing throughout this round. Sumrall fighting back with a few lefts and rights. And round one comes to a close. But a good showing here for the Nashville featherweight. See what the judges thought.
Yeah, until the final moments of that round when Chantel Sumrall started getting going, it was mostly this. Cannon doing a really good job with right hooks and the straight left hand. There's the hook, and again, that punch got in for Cannon, and she really was very accurate with her punching.
TBO fans, the winner of round one by way of unanimous decision from the Nashville Smash, Shelby Cannon. Round two at featherweight, Atlanta, Ray Robinson. Nashville, Jaws Johnson.
So Cannon takes the first round. And here's Ray Robinson, Leandric Johnson. There you see Johnson, 25 years of age, Nashville resident, fighting for his hometown team in his 4th season. Robinson, meanwhile, still searching for that first victory.
Yeah, he's lost 6 times in this season, in the first season in the TBL. And you see Johnson and the good work he's done.
Robinson, a 5'10" southpaw at 126 pounds. He looks like the bigger featherweight compared to Leandric Johnson. Not just obviously in height, but the body frame.
Yeah, I agree. And Jim Johnson has flashed some power. He stopped David Bailey early in the season, and he's produced 8 points for Nashville. So it's very, very impressive. And his last time out, he had a 1-on-1 record with Victor Abreu, who we know is a fine Miami fighter, one of the better fighters in TBL.
Johnson comes up whiffing with that right hand.
Robinson has suffered from not getting his punches off enough in this short format. He just hasn't been able to produce the volume necessary that is needed in this format.
Right there, Johnson's first with the jab.
Robinson's trying to land that straight left hand as a counter when Johnson comes in, but he's just a little short with it.
Is he short or a step slow on that? What do you think?
You know, that's a good question. It's short, but it could also be because he's not getting it out there quick enough to hit Johnson. So whatever the case, it's not getting there.
Johnson's left hand got there as he came in on Robinson. Stepping through and landing with the left. Under a minute to go in the second round. Leandric Johnson trying to improve to 6-2 this season.
Yeah, it's been a really good year for him. You know, he's 14-11 overall, so he's a TBL fighter that, you know, is around the 500 mark usually, a little bit above it, but 5-2 has been very solid for him this year.
And for much of this round, Johnson has been first right there a few moments ago. He did a nice job countering.
Yeah, he hasn't had a wildly successful offensive round, but it's been more than good enough based on what Robinson is landing. It was a nice counter right hook from Robinson, but those have been few and far between. Ray Robinson's defense has not been lacking in the fights we've seen, but the reason he's hasn't come up with a win yet, he just hasn't been able to get the offense going.
So round 2 will go to the judges' scorecards. We'll see if Nashville adds to the lead or if Atlanta gets on the board here early on.
TBL fans, the winner of round 2 by way of unanimous decision. From Nashville, Josh Johnson. Nashville leads Atlanta 2-0. Round 3 at featherweight, Atlanta and Knight. Nashville, Jennifer clashes.
2 TBL rookies going at it in round number 3. Jennifer Klatsches, all smiles. She's 1-3. She's been stopped once already. Last fought in late April, losing to LA's Erica Sanchez twice. Kaylee Knight, as you see, for Atlanta in the red fight kit. And Amelia, this was the one that you had circled. Now, both women are in multiple rounds tonight, but you like this one because, I mean, both women are in multiple rounds against different opponents. So you like this matchup head-to-head. Why?
That's correct, Justin. Specifically because of the veteran status and the depth of competition that Jennifer Klatsches has. I believe that you see these rising talents, you see these athletes that are coming up like Knight, that what is she going to do with that? You know, and it gives her the opportunity to be able to step into the light to show IQ or not. So, you know, it's always about the test.
Yeah, early in the season, we saw Knight score that knockout victory over Ali Valley, and she looked like she was going to be a really solid right-hand puncher that would show lots of power, but it hasn't shown itself since then.
There's a right hand that came through from Knight.
She hurt me.
She definitely, she responded. This must be telepathy.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and the thing is that the weight class is so deep. You think about, she had that knockout, and then right after that, she faced Lysandra Contreras, Shaquille Ellis, and then Erica Sanchez. I can't remember. There's a third one, and it's just like, those are all the top athletes within that division. So a tall order, but so much experience. And can she put it together tonight?
Florencia Britos might have been the other one that you were thinking of. She lost to her when Atlanta and Vegas tangled in Utah. So 4 straight rounds dropped as Klatsches gets a couple of punches in.
Yeah, Klatsches with that bare knuckle experience as well, and she has been in some wars in bare knuckle. I saw some of the videos, so she is not shy about getting involved with the action.
First person born in Tennessee to compete in bare knuckle boxing.
Interesting. I like that. Nice factoid.
Here she's trying to do a little bit more to sway the judge's opinion.
She's not been able to cut the distance like she would like on Knight as much, but she's now starting to find a home for that straight left hand crosses.
Closed the gap a few moments ago with that combo. 20 seconds to go in the 3rd round. Oh, big left hand that shoots in from Klatsches. Jennifer Klatsches timing her well. And another left hand comes in, this time from Knight. A highly competitive round between 2 featherweights. That's a close round to score.
It really is, and Knight did some good work early in the round. There's a straight left from Klatsches. We talked about how she was starting to find a home for that. And there, it was a kind of a combination of what both fighters did well. A good straight right hand by Knight and a left by Klatsches. And there's Klatsches again with that straight left hand. So it is going to be a tricky one for the judges to figure out. Early, it was Knight. Late, it was Klatsches.
TBL fans, the winner of round 3 by way of split decision. From Nashville, Jennifer Klatsches. Round 4 at lightweight, Atlanta, Traquan Pettis. Nashville, Ray Diaz.
I don't know about you, Al. I can't get too upset about a split decision, and also tough to argue it going either way, but no problem with Klausches coming away.
Yeah, it was a very close round, but it's one we're going to look back on later, depending on the scores, because it really could have gone either way. But Klausches had a very good close to that round.
So Nashville building an early lead, up 3-0 so far through the first 3 rounds. Traquan Pettis trying to get Atlanta on the board.
And he draws a man who's in his first TBL fight. Ray Diaz, 9-0 as a professional outside of TBL, so he's had good success.
Well, coming up in rounds 9 and 24, Hannah Tuitupo is with Amelia Moore.
I'm here with Heidi Tay. We spoke earlier, and you said that you stepped away from a career in chemistry to pursue boxing. What is it about this sport that made you fully step into betting on yourself?
Well, I mean, I've always loved this sport and loved the combat sports, and I did it for a lot of years for free, and I wasn't looking for anything out of it, just a spiritual journey and personal growth. But I started looking around and working a serious job, and there's people 50, 60 years old, but you're not going to be able to do this forever. So we all want to do the sport as long as we can and get everything we can out of it. So once you've been already through all the high levels of amateurs, it was just time to go pro.
So speaking of those high levels of amateurs, you represented internationally for the nation of Tonga, dual citizenship, but also, I mean, at the level of Olympic qualification tournaments, what has continued to kind of push you in that direction, you know, and have that passion for the sport? What is it about boxing?
Like I said, it's definitely like a spiritual journey, you know, like looking at how hard can you work and who can you really become, and really wanting to be everything you can and represent your people. Of course, there's nothing like representing your home country and being able to do that and step on the stage and just represent. So, you know, that makes you want to do it. But yeah, like you said, that's the highest level in amateurs. So now we're here representing Atlanta.
Thank you for jumping on the mic with us. We're looking forward to seeing you in your next 2 rounds and closing out the show in 24 as well. Thank you, ma'am. Justin?
Love hearing it. Love hearing the backgrounds, Alan. You could always connect the dots here when you have someone who has had a lot of success, but maybe at an older age in the amateur ranks, and they're just turning pro, a bit older than others. You know, their background story is likely intriguing.
Yeah, it really is, and they're so anxious to have success at this juncture. Speaking of success, Traquan Pettis is having it with his jab in this round against Diaz, and now Diaz trying to be very aggressive and switching, which we hadn't seen before, but Pettis was really controlling this round with the jab for the most part.
And Diaz is making his TBL debut tonight, a 5'9" lightweight out of North Las Vegas. He is 9-0 with 3 knockouts in traditional boxing. And the round comes to a close. We'll see if Pettis did enough to get Atlanta on the board.
Yeah, Traquan Pettis was using, there he landed the really good left hook. The jab was primarily a big weapon for him. And Diaz, you know, he had his moments there. He's landing that nice left hand. That was toward the end of the round when he also switched to the lefty stance. So we'll see who the judges liked in this.
TBL fans, the winner of round 4 by way of split decision. From Atlanta, Traquan Pettis. The score, Nashville 3, Atlanta 1.
So Traquan Pettis picks up his 10th career TBL victory and gets Atlanta on the board. We're through 4 rounds in Nashville. The Smash are up 3-1. We'll be back with more. Back at Municipal Auditorium, Nashville trying to pick up its second win of the season, up 3-1 through 4. Time for round number 5. Let's go back to Ray.
Round 5 at welterweight, Atlanta, Javon Davis. Nashville, Yasir Riley.
Round number 5, our round to watch. In the lunch rounds, Yasir Riley off to a blazing start in Team Boxing League, 7-1 in his rookie season. Javon Davis, meanwhile, in his 4th season, 31-14 in his TBL career, but struggling so far this season. Al, just 2-6.
Yeah, it has not been his best year for sure. And we mentioned that Riley beat him earlier in the season by unanimous decision. So Davis is going to really be trying to change that, and you see how Riley has produced points for his team.
That win over Davis for Riley was in Yasir's TBL debut on March the 27th.
Yeah, he drew a tough one and got a win in that. And last time out was the only loss that Riley has had. He split with Esther Suero.
That's it.
Riley's habit a lot of times is to not start super fast in rounds, but then about midway through he kind of picks up and he really targets people.
And when he picks it up, Al, that right hand becomes more lively. You haven't seen it thrown too much yet.
Yeah, it really does. That's a very good point.
If you're watching at home, just keep your eyes on that right hand from Riley.
It's amazing. Davis, it shows you in this format, Davis has 8 KOs in all his fights outside of the TBL, but hasn't had one here.
Davis, a 28-year-old Atlanta resident. Got a lot of cheers when he entered the ring here. And that one does count. Davis goes down in round 5. So Yasir Riley records a knockdown for Nashville.
Well, you told everybody to look for the right hand, and guess what? It got there.
How much did it affect Davis? And can Riley go for another? Went over the top with that right hand.
And it came in that portion of the round where Riley is normally very good.
Yasir Riley making a name for himself in 2026 for this Nashville Smash squad. Riley only scheduled here for 1 round tonight, making the most of it.
Yeah, which is intriguing that he's only in once, but as you said, you know, he's adding an extra point with that knockdown, and you know, he has a very good left hook also, but the right hand is probably the dominant power punch, and we'll get a chance to look at it here. Just a beautiful straight right hand. And, you know, give Javon Davis credit. That was a beauty. I mean, that was a really good punch and really stunned him. And he was able to get through that round despite that. And the Nashville bench pretty happy with what their man is doing.
The right-handed stunner from Riley. And
Team
extra
Boxing
points for
League
the smash.
fans, the winner of I by way of unanimous decision, 2 points going to the Nashville Smashes, Yasir Riley. Round 6 at super welterweight, Atlanta, Amin Mitchell. Nashville, Hadrian Phillips.
Nashville climbing out to a 5-1 lead as we move over to junior middleweight, Mitchell and Phillips. Sounds like a home accessory brand.
It does. You know, this is, obviously Atlanta needs to get things back on their side of the ledger, and this is one chance. I think Amin Mitchell is a very, very solid fighter who's got 14 wins as a TBL contestant, and Phillips has struggled this year.
Phillips has lost 6 in a row. Joined TBL late June last year, then came back to start this season with Nashville. Promoted by the great Christy Martin.
Yeah, Phillips has had a hard time getting enough offense going. There you see him throwing a lot of punches. He has been very shy about the volume that he has used in team boxing. Mitchell likely to switch from righty to lefty. We've seen that a lot.
Enjoyed a left hand moments ago. Trying to come back in, close the distance, fire off that right hand, and they smother up.
He has a nice little sneaky right hand on the inside by Phillips. He has a pretty good right hand. He just doesn't use it as much as he might. Mitchell won the first 3 in this season, but now he's on a 4-fight round losing streak, so he really wants to turn things around here and needs to turn it around for his team as well.
So 2 fighters who've shown spurts of talent, both trying to end long skids for their teams who are desperate for win number 2 on the season.
Yeah, you can make a strong case both these men are better than this season's record would indicate. And this has been a pretty close round.
A round that's arguably up for grabs here. Last 25 seconds as Mitchell lands a left hand in motion. He's been the aggressor here in the final minute.
I think he stunned Phillips with the right hand that followed that hook. The punch got his attention for sure.
And he closed it with an exclamation point. Phillips looking a bit disheveled in the last 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, Mitchell had a very good ending to that round. Some punches missed, but he got some good ones in. And there's the hook that we talked about, that and a right hand that Mitchell landed as well. So he demonstrated some of the power that he is capable of. Mitchell's the only guy that has beaten Yoelis Molina this year, so he's had one good moment for sure.
TBL fans, the winner of round 6 by way of unanimous decision. From the Atlanta Tech, Amin Mitchell. The score, Nashville 5, Atlanta 2. Round 7 at middleweight. Atlanta, Raul Garcia. Nashville, Isaiah Elrod.
3-point lead for this match as we move up to 160 pounds. Here you see the veteran Isaiah Elrod, career 500 fighter in Team Boxing League, 12-12, 4-4 this year. Raul Garcia has fought 6 times this season. He's 3-3.
Yeah, and Garcia came into this league. He has fought the toughest of people in his weight classes, in slightly lower weights than this. And he was in a Fight of the Year candidate against Vladimir Hernandez. And there you see Elrod, who, as you pointed out, a 500 fighter who had a TKO win earlier this year and was very impressive.
First 30-plus seconds, Garcia's walked into some wicked shots, and he ate them up well.
Yeah, he's an aggressive fighter, Garcia, and sometimes that will create issues because he'll get hit on the way in, and Elrod's a good counterpuncher.
Nashville started this launch round phase pretty strong. Jumped out to a 3-0 lead. Now 5-2.
Four of the 8 fights that Elrod's been involved in have been split decisions, 2 wins and 2 losses. He has had a bunch of close ones. And his last time out, he had a split win and a split loss on the same night. So he's hoping that he can be more definitive here tonight.
Either fighter covering up with a little over a minute to go. Garcia trying to crack the code on the 6'3", 160-pounder Isaiah Elrod.
When Elrod is at his best, we've seen him kind of as he's been tonight for the most part, where he controls the distance and the geography of the ring. And you mentioned his height, which is very good for this weight class. And Garcia, in pro boxing in general, outside of TBL, has been a guy that gets on the inside and works hard, but hasn't been able to do it as much here tonight.
These two trading punches, though nothing extraordinary has been landing.
Elrod had better success early in the round with a couple of those power shots, but as you mentioned earlier, Garcia charging in and getting hit with those.
Yeah, he was doing a better job when the Dominican was coming in, when he was letting him enter the airspace, so to speak.
Oh, there's a straight left hand by Elrod, and that's his primary weapon. Here's where Garcia, he didn't have enough opportunity there. That's where Raul Garcia can set up shop and do well, but the round ended on him. So Isaiah Elrod with another jab and a straight left hand there, and that was when, as he controlled the distance, and Garcia was nailed a couple times coming in. This was the end of the round where Garcia had himself in a better position to punch, but kind of time ran out on him.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of round 7 by way of split decision from the Nashville Smash, Isaiah Elrod. The score, Nashville 6, Atlanta 2. Our final launch round will be in the heavyweight division. Atlanta, Samuel Clarkson. Nashville, Danny Barlow.
Round 8 starting up. Pair of heavyweights going at it. Samuel Clarkson going for his 10th career TBL victory against Danny Barlow, who won 2 against Nestor Santana back on May 31st.
Yeah, Samuel Clarkson, a very aggressive fighter, and you're seeing it here. Lefty heavyweight, which he and Barlow both are, you don't see that much. And Samuel Clarkson, he will always come out firing, and boy, he's doing that in this round.
Very busy to begin round 8, and he's connected as well.
And you know, Danny Barlow, when he came on the TBL scene this year, he has had much more experience in MMA. He's not really an experienced boxer. He lost those matches to Skylar Lacey the first night, but as you pointed out, then he really upset Nestor Santana. I don't think a lot of people thought he was going to win those 2 fights. But he's facing a fighter tonight in Samuel Clarkson, who has come in with a lot of resolve.
There is a lot of controlled aggression for Samuel Clarkson in this round. Sort of pawing at Clarkson with that left hand.
Clarkson hasn't been in the ring since, in the TBL ring since May 10th when he split with Joey DeRico. The Clarkson jab is always important. There's a nice right hook from Barlow. You know, as I mentioned, he is primarily an MMA fighter. He's 2-2 with the UFC, has mostly an MMA background, but he has shown growth already in the short time he's been with TBL. And as Clarkson has wound down a little bit, Barlow's found a little bit of success in the second part of this round.
Just going to mention that, something that's pretty visible here. Clarkson and the punch rate, they have slowed down considerably. So can Barlow take advantage?
Clarkson did come back with a nice straight left hand there.
Barlow again with a solid combo that connects.
You can see Barlow, he's working on his technique. You can see spots where it's excellent and spots where it's not, but he's certainly improving at it.
Another left hand that lands, and Clarkson answers back. Some impact counters from Samuel Clarkson. Kind of wish this last round was 4 minutes out.
Yeah, boy, you're reading my mind, Justin, because I was just about to say we had a fight in 2 parts. The first part where Samuel Clarkson really dominated, and then the part that we're seeing here where Barlow was able to fight on much more even terms with him and landing a lot of straight left hands in this great exchange at the end of the round where they both landed big punches. So be interesting whether Barlow did enough in that latter part of the round to put himself in position to win this decision. We'll find out.
TBL fans, the winner of round 8 by way of unanimous decision. From Atlanta, Samuel Clarkson.
So Samuel Clarkson
the launch rounds,
gives
Nashville
Atlanta
has a
something to
6-3
cheer
lead.
about, which they haven't had that much of in these launch rounds. And what's coming up on TBL? Justin's going to tell you all about it.
Thanks so much, Al. Plenty more action to come between the Smash and the Attack as we get rolling on a Friday night in TBL. And Week 12 will be running throughout the weekend. Coming up tomorrow, Team Boxing League heads to New England for a much-anticipated rematch as Sage Rosario and the Boston Butchers take on Stacia Suttles and the Philadelphia Smoke. Philly trying to maintain its dominance atop the league standings, all starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Then on Sunday, the New York City Attitude will try and keep rolling off last week's big win as the Zempelteke Sims take on Yovdi Annapolis and the Miami Assassins, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. All 24 rounds of 3-minute action can be seen right here on TBL, Team Boxing League.
Another night just getting started in Nashville. The Smash have a 6-3 edge on Atlanta through the first 8 rounds. We are about to head into the middle round phase as Nashville goes for its 2nd win of the season. Justin, and now back with you in our TBL studios. So a 6-3 lead. Nashville jumped out early, but Atlanta's coming back here. Multiple split decisions as well. There's some close boxing right now.
There really is. And, you know, one of the stories that we thought of going in with no Ariel Davis here was how well would the Atlanta women be able to perform?
Well, let's see how one of them did as we take a look at a couple of rounds from the launch round phase. Round number 3, Kaylee Knight, Jennifer Clausius, a pair of featherweights going at it. And again, the onus on some of the other lighter divisions with someone like Ariel Davis not in the action tonight. And this was a very competitive round.
It really was. And early on, Knight did very, very well, but Clausius came back, landed a lot of straight right hands, and she ended up getting the split decision. Not a happy Kaylee Knight.
Then in round 5, Jasir Riley, his lone round of the night, taking on Javon Davis, and Riley, well, he made up for it in the points department.
Well, he repeated his victory earlier in the season, and in this case, he knocked Davis down with that beautiful straight right hand. Fair, and Davis hung in for the rest of the round, but Riley got the win and helped continue the momentum for Nashville in the launch rounds.
So Jasir Riley now improving to 8-1 in his rookie season as we turn our attention to a round to watch here in the middle rounds. Round 15, you have a pair of 7-1 fighters going at it. Money Pal, D'Angelo Leachman, a good matchup at cruiserweight.
It really is a good cruiserweight matchup. I mean, their combined records are 15-2. So, as you pointed out, they're both having really good seasons. And Money Pal stepped up to cruiserweight to help his team, Atlanta, and he has been great now at that weight. We'll see if he can continue tonight.
He's been a steady presence. Let's get the middle rounds going. Here is Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to begin the middle rounds between the Atlanta Attack and Nashville Smash. Round 9 at bantamweight. Atlanta, Hainete Tuitupu. Nashville, Bianca Ortega.
Tuitupu and Ortega. And this will be the matchup in round number 24 as well. So first meeting of the night between these two bantamweights. Ortega in the blue trunks, Tuitupu in the red. The chemist.
I think this is really an intriguing matchup. Ortega very, very inexperienced in general in the ring. She lost a unanimous decision to Christina Cruz. And Tuitupu, you know, you see her there. She's had a good first outing in the TBL, winning 2 matches against Jordan Edwards in her TBL debut.
Amelia, what in your eyes stands out the most from a boxing IQ standpoint with Tuitupu?
You know, I think that she has a really good stand. She's very powerful. These 2 ladies actually competed in the National Golden Gloves tournament of this year in May and then came to TBL. So it's funny how they're very much so on that same trajectory. Tuitupu obviously has had more international experience than Ortega, but it's like, as far as that national level, they seem to be on that same trajectory. I like how patient Tuitupu is. Ortega is feels like she's a little bit less, I don't want to say less strong, but a little bit more unsure coming in. So it's you got to be grounded, you got to be able to come out there with that fight and just really be intentional about your punching.
I thought Tuitupu showed that amateur pedigree that included, as Amelia said, the National Golden Gloves, the National USA semifinals, and I thought she showed that in her matches against Jordan Edwards.
Under a minute to go, Tuitupu landing.
And Tuatupou has a win over Samantha Sosa, who's one of the TBL fighters, she as an amateur, that we've seen grow this year. Switching to lefty now is Ortega, showing a different look to Tuatupou.
Goes back to orthodox. A few moments ago, Tuatupou lost her footing. She wisely grabbed onto Ortega and then delivered a very nice left counter against Ortega.
And Tuatupou, last fight when they fought Vegas, she was at 126 because they needed to fill a spot. So she's back at a weight I think that is much more natural for her at 118.
Neither woman has been able to really, I don't think, be as accurate with their punches as they would want to have been in this round. We look back at Tuatupou early in the round. She did have some good combinations, and that was probably the best offensive work she's done. And she had good moments there with this jab, power jab, really, not a feeling out jab.
And they'll do it again in round 24. See what the score is at that moment.
TBL finish. Round 9 by way of unanimous decision. Hainete Tuatupou from Atlanta. Round 10 and lightweight Atlanta, Jeremy Hill. Nashville, Roger Hilly.
Tuatupou wins the round, and Atlanta's closing the gap. Now trailing by just 2 as Hilly and Hill get into it.
You know, Hill, this is his debut season in TBL, and he's 2-3. He has, you know, he's struggling to kind of work with the format, and he's a very good fighter in pro boxing beyond TBL. He's 22-4-1. He has a big win over Malik Montgomery, who's a very good lightweight, and he is somebody who has done very well, but I think he's still adjusting to this one-round format.
And obviously the element that is so noticeable with Jeremy Hill is the height and the reach for 135 pounds. 71-inch reach for a lightweight.
Yeah, it's crazy. And, you know, Hilly, who, you know, he's 3-4 this year. He's had to struggle in team boxing. You know, 5-16-1 record, but that doesn't really show you who he is. He's had some great fights, and he's outside of TBL. He's 14-1. I did his fight with Joshua Pagan, a top lightweight contender, and Hilly fought really well in that fight. So these are two very solid pros in there.
Hill coming up empty, not using the long left jab.
He's kind of pawing with that punch, and then he did come with the right hand behind, but it didn't quite get there. And Hilly wants to be in the inside. When he's in there banging away, when he had fought Pagan, he was fighting off his chest, and he was getting some great work done. Now, Hill has a beautiful left hook, and he just missed with that one there, but when he gets that punch cranked up, it is a good one.
Hilly trying to close the gap. Get closer inside. Right hand to the body, and then coming back up top, Hilly spills to the floor. And Jeremy Hill, at the minimum, has tied it up for Atlanta.
Well, we talked about the left hook of Hill. He switched to righty and cranked up the right hook, and he's doing it again.
And now he's going to work, pounding on the body with that right hand. He senses that Hilly could be hurt. Hilly counters back with a ferocious right hand that scrapes across the face of Jeremy Hill.
There's the, you see, Hilly is such a tough competitor, and you could see that here, coming back after being knocked down and hurt.
What a wild turn this round took in the last minute. A knockdown, and like Al mentioned, Hilly kind of waking up after that knockdown.
Yeah, he came back after that knockdown and really then was more offensive. So Hill, he's a very good power puncher, and now he's shown it here in the TBL. There was that nice short check hook from him as a left-hander. He doesn't switch that often, but he was very effective at it. And there's the right hook that sent Hilly down. Jeremy Hill wants to tell us about it. He's happy.
A pair of right hooks does it for Jeremy Hill.
TBL fans, the winner of round 10 by way of unanimous decision. 2 points going to the Atlanta Attacks, Jeremy Hill. We are tied at 6 apiece. Round 11 at featherweight, Atlanta, Kaylee and Knight. Nashville, Shelby Cannon.
So this is one of several matchups that kind of features a quick turnaround. Saw Kellyanne Knight in round 3, back in action in round 11. Shelby Cannon started the night in the first round. Picked up a win over Chantel Sumrall.
Judge.
Knight, meanwhile, fell to Jennifer Clausius, but everything's tied up at 6. Brand new event.
And she was not happy, Kellyanne Knight, about that decision. Here she is against another left-hander, as she faced in the first fight of the night for her.
Jasir Riley picked up 2 points earlier in the launch rounds to improve to 8-1. The impressive rookie standing by with Amelia.
Jasir, you've had an amazing season already. You're 8-1. It was 7-1 before you came into tonight. Your teammate Walden is going to be going in against Javon Davis. Javon is an incredible talent, yet you still found a way to sneak that right hand in and be very dominant. What would you tell Walden to be able to, what kind of adjustments would you tell him to go after an opponent like that?
I would tell him to just pick up where I left off, put a lot of pressure on him, keep his jab out there, use a lot of angles like he do. He real tricky in there with his feet, and do what he do best, land a straight left hand.
And so for people that don't know boxing, when you see your opponent and the athlete in front of you be as resilient as Javon Davis is, you know, hit the canvas like that, and then just get up and still be able to have that awareness, you know, what kind of goes through your mind when you see something like that?
Well, I feel like everybody here for a reason, so if he didn't know what to do in that situation, he wouldn't be here. I just know what I got to do after I get that knockdown like that. When he got back up, I knew I had to get right back on my jab and do what got me there in the first place.
Inside the mindset. Jasir, thank you so much for taking the time to jump on the mic with us, man. Justin, Al, back to you.
Thank you. Jasir in his lone round of the evening, picking up 2 points for Nashville. Now 8-1 in an impressive rookie campaign.
Kellyanne Knight has been very aggressive, throwing a lot of punches. Not all of them getting there, but she has in her mind, I think, a good left hook by her that lost by split decision. She does not want that to happen again. And she's in against another bare knuckles fighter who, like Clausius, knows how to come in and put pressure on and is landing the straight left now like Clausius did. And ironically, it's coming almost at the same point in the round where Clausius kind of figured out how to land it.
A right hand winds in from Shelby Cannon. And here comes Kayla Knight. Kayla Knight with some good counters.
This round is a little deja vu from the first one because Knight doing good work as she did against Clausius earlier in the round, but then got some problems later in the round, and that's been true in this one also against Cannon.
Both women going at it, putting their head down and flailing lefts and rights. Not trying to leave anything to chance with the judges, getting in their last licks as the round comes to a close.
that was another good one, and like the first one, it wouldn't be shocking to see a very close decision. There's the right hook that got in there by Cannon, and she was able to do some pretty good work with the straight left as well. There's the right hand, and a good counter left by Kellyanne Knight. Knight did really good work early in that round.
TBL fans, the winner of round 11 by way of split decision from the Nashville Smash, Shelby Cannon. Round 12 at welterweight, Atlanta, Javon Davis. Nashville, Kael Walden.
So if any of the judges here tonight were thinking of inviting Kellyanne Knight to their next cocktail party, I suggest no, don't do it. She's not pleased with their work this evening in these two close fights.
Dropping two tough rounds, two close rounds.
Very close.
Here's Javon Davis in his second round of action. We'll see how he's able to come back after getting knocked down by Jasir Riley. Here he's up against Kael Walden, who you heard Riley tell Amelia, look out for the left hand from Walden. Pick up where I left off with your left hand. Do what you do well, and that's throw that left.
Well, Walden has a very good straight left hand. He has had amateur experience in top tournaments that he's been in, and so he has brought a lot of that experience into TBL, and he's 7-3 this season, Walden. Kind of a quiet 7-3.
Easy, but trying to restore order, getting in Javon Davis' face, and fighters resume action.
Walden split with Darius Jackson his last time out on May 31st, and Jackson came in with a 5-fight win streak, so that was a productive night for him, even though he split with him.
Davis just extending the jab out, trying to keep Walden at bay. He continues to come in and close that distance.
You know, it's interesting. We talked about Javon Davis's overall success in TBL, and that this season just hasn't gone the way it normally does. And this fight is a good example of that. He's just been slightly off with his punching and hasn't been quite as quick as Walden.
Amelia, what have you seen from Javon Davis compared to seasons past?
You know, and just to kind of put to what Al, I mean, he did, you know, you don't know how much damage it takes or how that punch affected him, but he is usually a very high output athlete, and we're seeing a little bit less. I'm also noticing, I would like to see Javon stay on the outside of that lead foot of Walden, and he keeps coming to the right, and you're going to his right, you know, you're going into that rear hand. You don't want to be there, you know, because that's where the power is. So, I mean, I'm a huge Javon Davis fan. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of seeing just a little bit, something is a little bit off in the you know, this season.
Yeah, the movement issue is an important one, and Walden going to town now toward the end of this. But yeah, you want to be moving the other way against a lefty.
Right counter from Davis, comes back in with the right hand, a straight shot right, trying to swarm Walden as the seconds wind down. Will that little burst be enough and potentially offset all the good that Walden did?
Very good work at the end by Davis with some clubbing right hands. Walden wasn't pleased about some of it because he thought they were behind the head, and these two men debating it. And this is that action at the end. There's a right. Now you see it kind of cuffed Walden behind the back of the head, and another one. And Walden wasn't pleased about that. there were some legal ones that landed by Davis, the referee giving him a talking to.
TBL fans, the winner of round 12 of unanimous decision from Nashville, Kyle Walden.
So Walden with a
The
unanimous
score,
decision
Nashville
victory.
8,
Davis
Atlanta
0 for
6.
2 tonight, and Nashville with a 2-point lead back at the driver's seat, up 8-6 through 12 rounds in the Music City. Atlanta 6, getting ready to go for round number 13 and a rematch for the launch rounds. Let's go back to Ray Flores.
Round 13 at super welterweight, Atlanta, Amin Mitchell. Nashville, Hadrian Phillips.
Hadrian Phillips with, extended the lack of success he's had to a great extent with his last round against Mitchell. And I've announced several of his fights outside of TBL. He's 3-0 as a pro, and he's just been able to put his punches together better in those fights. Maybe he's one of those people that just needs a round or two to get going, but he hasn't been able to do that as much here in TBL.
Turned pro last May, 3-0 record, and 3 first-round stoppages.
Yeah.
So he would think,
really,
hey, I'm pretty assimilated. Not the case.
He should not really have that problem. I was looking at it again after I said it, and I said, you don't know. He's creating a lot of buzz early outside.
Quick look at the TBL scoring format. All the points scored add up for the team. If you win by way of a judge's decision, you get 1 point. If you score a knockdown, it's 2 points. 2 or more knockdowns, 3 points. And it is 4 points via knockout, TKO, DQ, or forfeit. And at the moment, Nashville is up 8-6, trying to pick up their first win since April 17th. And a victory for either team would go a long way in a push for a postseason spot. One of the final seeds up for grabs.
Yeah, it's almost mandatory for both of these teams a win right now to keep them in the running. Mitchell, a U.S. Army vet, a boxing coach with that in the Army, and he's just a very solid boxing guy, and showing you that in this tonight as well.
Scraping some of those punches to the body. Mitchell.
I mentioned that Mitchell will switch, and he's done it now. Back to the lefty and now back to righty. He will do that often during fights. Phillips has a good... Oh, boy, that was a nice right by Mitchell.
Came swarming in right along the ropes against Phillips.
Phillips has a good jab. He's got a good straight right hand. He just has not been able to use that punch enough in these matches. Both those punches. There was a sneaky right by Phillips. He can get it in.
And a left hook at the bell from Amin Mitchell.
Well, Mitchell did. There's the Phillips jab, and it led to this though. Mitchell throwing a nice combination with a left hook to the body, followed by a straight right hand, and more work was done by Mitchell in that round. We'll see if the judges reward that volume.
The best punches of the round came from Amin Mitchell.
Yeah.
TBL fans, the winner of round 13 by way of unanimous decision. From the Atlanta Tech, Amin Mitchell. The score, Nashville 8, Atlanta 7. Round 14 at super middleweight, Atlanta, Keandre Leatherwood. Nashville, Juan Barajas.
First time we're seeing these two super middleweights this evening. Keandre Leatherwood for Atlanta in the red trunks. Juan Barajas in the blue for Nashville, clinging to a 1-point lead. Barajas is going for his 10th career TBL win in his second season. Leatherwood's going for his 20th career TBL win. This is his 4th year.
And they both are on losing streaks after having winning streaks. For Leatherwood, as you see his work there, he won his first 4 this season, and now he's lost 3 in a row. And for Juan Barajas, he is also on a losing streak right now. He's now on a forced fight losing streak.
Barajas is 6'4", 168-pounder, a reach of 80 inches.
And Leatherwood at age 37 has been in against great pros. You know, he lost to Christian Nabili, who was a world champion, Trell Gachet, Andy Lee. He's been in with top fighters. And, he's got 24 TBL wins. So he is a veteran of not only the overall sport, but of TBL as well. As is Barajas. He's got a lot of TBL experience.
Well, Leatherwood has been in the ring with some of the better fighters, as you mentioned. He's also been in the training camps with some of the top names in the sport. Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin. They call on him for parts of their training camp.
Yeah, he's the perfect veteran for that. Nice overhand right by Leatherwood. Juan Barajas is a unique fighter. Sometimes he is so dialed in and throws good combinations, and we saw that during that winning streak he had earlier this season, and then it kind of faded a little bit for him.
Snap jab from Leatherwood comes through. And he's holding that left hand low. Under a minute to fight in the 14th round.
Despite the height and reach for Barajas, and even though Leatherwood has been on the outside a lot, Leatherwood has, I think, found a way to get a few more meaningful punches in. Not by a large margin, but perhaps by a little. Barajas has not used the right hand much in this fight, and there was one by him.
A left hand comes through from Barajas. And the round concludes. They're going to do it again in the 20th.
And intriguingly, that is what we've seen a lot of tonight. Very close rounds where there was a good left hook on the inside by Leatherwood, and he was able to get that counter left hand in from time to time. Barajas had some good offensive moments as well, but a close one.
close round in a close overall score. Let's see what happens here.
TBL fans, the winner of round 14 by way of split decision. From Nashville, Juan Barajas. The score, Nashville 9, Atlanta 7. Round 15 at cruiserweight, Atlanta, Money Powell. Nashville, D'Angelo Leachman.
So a 2-point lead for Nashville as we get to our round to watch. Money Powell, D'Angelo Leachman, 2 cruiserweights who have had a lot of success in 2026. They meet up for the first of 2 rounds tonight. Al mentioned it, Money Powell at cruiserweight after competing at light heavyweight last season. He's now competed as low as super welterweight and as high as cruiserweight.
Yeah, and the intriguing thing is, you know, he went up. Guess what? D'Angelo Leachman went down. He came down to cruiserweight after fighting as a heavyweight and there you see some of the good work that Powell has done and Leachman has done as well as point procurers for their team. Leachman came down from the heavyweight division and has thrived at cruiserweight. So 2 men that came at this from opposite directions.
So 2 of the top 3 cruiserweights in the league. That it's difficult to fill this weight class.
Yeah, finding enough cruiserweights and good cruiserweights not always can be done. And that's part of the reason why Paul moved up for them. And as we said, Leachman came down. So, and Leachman, it was a great move by him because he did not fit, I don't think, in the heavyweight division, even though he had some good success there. Leachman has controlled, I think, the first part of this round a little bit with his jab and maybe some right hands.
Powell operating with a smirk on his face essentially the entire round so far. And now they're John with one another.
Well, he is so demonstrative, Money Powell. I mean, he will give you your dollar's worth in terms of entertainment. Born in Germany, his dad was in the service over there. He's a fascinating man overall, inside and outside the ring. And was ranked #1 in the USA as an amateur.
Been a pro since 2017. Still just 28.
The jab that Leachman has packed away with has kind of, I think, controlled things a little bit in this round. I don't know if that's going to get him the win. It might, but it's kept Powell at bay. And then the right hand is
unloading on a combo. That's the first time this round either fighter has let the hands go.
Yeah, you're right. We've seen singular punches, but that was the first true combination.
Fairly quick turnaround coming up for these two. They'll meet up in round 18 in the money rounds.
It'll be intriguing what they glean from this.
Those punches from Leachman just short. And that'll do it here in round number 15.
In terms of pure numbers in that round, more punches by Leachman. Whether that will create the victory remains to be seen. Here's that nice combination, and a nice right hand got in there for Leachman. And as you pointed out, Justin, that really was the only time in the round where we saw combination punching, even though we saw some decent singular punches by both fighters.
TBL fans, the winner of round 15 by way of unanimous decision. From Nashville, D'Angelo Leachman. The score, Nashville 10, Atlanta 7. Round 16 in the heavyweight division. Atlanta, Devon Young Nashville, Danny Barlow.
So Nashville has gone back up by 3. And we'll get our second and final heavyweight bout of the night. Devon Young, Danny Barlow. For Barlow, it's his second round. Fell to Samuel Clarkson back in the 8th. And our first look at Devon Young here tonight in his 3rd TBL season. He's had a lot of success.
Yeah, 24 wins overall, 5-3 this season. And 2 of his 3 losses this season have come by split decision. So he and Barlow have never faced each other before. Of course, Barlow is in his first season with TBL.
Young, a much bigger fighter. As he goes for his 25th career TBL win. Borderline punch in the waistband. And Young continues to march forward.
And last week, a split decision win for Devon Young against Hirat Cordoba. He's a tricky matchup, I think, for Danny Barlow because of his structure and his reach and the way he fights. We'll see. But Danny Barlow kind of keeps surprising everybody, you know, with his, even in losing to Clarkson, he showed good moments.
In fighting style, what we're seeing from Barlow, there's kind of a choppiness that works.
Yes. And sometimes he slaps like he did with the left hand, but then the next left hand was thrown perfectly. So, as we mentioned, his background in MMA, he's a work in progress as a boxer, and came to team boxing because he wanted to be better as a boxer. Young has a very good right hand, and that's part of what created the problem. There it is. Created the problems for Conjure Nathan, and when he throws it, it's a beauty, and he just landed a real nice one.
Unleashed for maybe the first time to make some true impacts, and now becoming a little bit more liberal with that right hand. Barlow answering back, trying to work the body, swinging and missing with that left hand.
One thing Danny Barlow has shown, I think, early on in this, south of the border.
The time will be called for the low blow at 31 seconds.
That was the first that we've seen of Young really going down there, so I think that was unintentional, but nonetheless debilitating for Barlow. He's taking his aggression out on Young.
He came out blazing once they resumed action. Maybe trying to catch Young off target. That's a throwdown, not a knockdown. And now Barlow being warned. Both fighters seeing red at the conclusion of this round. Left hand just missing. The right hand does not from Devon Young. And he may have had a little whisper. Parting shot right in the ear of Danny Barlow as round 16 concludes.
Well, there was a lot going on in this round. And Devon Young with the left hand and the straight right toward the end of the round there. And during the course of it, there was also a low blow, but a lot of good right hands by Devon Young. So, and Barlow had his good offensive moments as well in that round. Make no mistake about it.
Team Boxing League fans, the winner of round 16 by way of split decision. From the Nashville Smash, Danny Barlow. At the end of the middle rounds, Nashville leads Atlanta 11-7.
Well, a big win for Danny Barlow that might surprise some at ringside, but he did a great job and keeps Nashville ahead. Where can you see team boxing? Justin's going to tell you.
Great to have you with us on Team Boxing League. And here's how you can tell other fans where they can catch Team Boxing League events. We are on a number of different platforms, including MSG Networks, the Gotham Sports app, Spectrum Sportsnet, and Nesson, as well as our home network, Envoy Fast. Plus, the full season of Encores are on Envoy TV every day. Download the Envoy app. Connected TV users with Samsung, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku, and LG devices can download the TBL app and watch both live action and play previous matches on demand. TBL is also seen on YouTube, the TBL app, and in Spanish on the Estrella Network.
Ready for the weekend in Nashville, and we are ready for the money rounds in this head-to-head matchup between two Southeast Division squads as Nashville has a 4-point lead over Atlanta. 11-7 the score right now as we welcome you back inside the studio. Justin and Al with you. So Nashville winning the last 3 rounds, winning 5 of the last 7 rounds in the middle round portion. Still feels like Atlanta is hovering around here. I don't think they're out of it.
The Attack had some momentum early in the middle rounds, then 3 straight split decisions that Nashville got the nod on turned this thing. But I agree with you. This is not a done deal yet.
A lot of split decisions, a lot of close rounds being scored. Let's take a look at some of the action from the middle rounds, and we go back to round number 10 because this for Atlanta was its first and at the moment only stoppage of the night. It came from Jeremy Hill.
Yeah, Jeremy Hill created a knockdown that gave him a 2-point round. The right hook that landed when he turned lefty against Roger Healy. And that was a moment at which Atlanta had a lot of momentum, and it looked like they might even be taking control of this match.
Yeah, I said stoppage, first extra points for Jeremy Hill. So a 2-point round for Hill. And then the very next round, round 11, second round of the night for both women here, Shelby Cannon, Kaylee Ann Knight. This is one of those close rounds we've been talking about.
This was complete deja vu for Kaylee Ann Knight, as in her first fight, when she faced a left-handed bare knuckles fighter. She did it again against Shelby Cannon, and again did well early in the round. But Cannon started to land those right hooks, some straight left hands, and another close decision goes against Kaylee Ann Knight and helped Nashville kind of gain momentum again in this match.
Yeah, it broke a 6-6 tie at the moment right there, and again, Nashville up by 4. So we take a look at the money rounds. And we saw two women with terrific amateur pedigrees go at it to start the middle rounds, Tuatupo and Ortega. They're going to be matched up again in round 24. And again, based on the feel and the rhythm, not so much the overall score right now, that could be a massive round.
It is not out of the question that we could go into round 24 with this thing still undecided. And you mentioned the amateur pedigree of these two women. Both had good moments in that round. Tuatupu was a little bit more consistent, I think, and that's what got her the win.
So that's round 24. Plenty more action to go before we get to round 24. Let's start the money rounds as we go back inside Municipal Auditorium with Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to begin the money rounds between the Atlanta Attack and Nashville Smash. Round 17 at featherweight. Atlanta, Ray Robinson. Nashville, Josh Johnson.
I'm sure that Sam Arnold, the coach of Atlanta, is thinking this would be a great time for Ray Robinson to get that first win in TBL because they could use it right now.
Big Sam trying to have his team sweep the season series with Nashville. They beat the Smash way back on March 27th. Since then, they've lost 4 in a row, and they are in danger of missing the postseason.
And that win was a convincing win. They won by a considerable margin. So tonight, a close one, and they find themselves on the short end right now.
These two featherweights starting it off. Robinson, Josh Johnson. See Josh Johnson next to go by Josh now. Full name Leandric Josh Johnson. Now 6-2.
Yeah, he's had a good season, but I mentioned somebody else that felt like they had a quietly good season. It's kind of the case with Johnson as well. He hasn't had dramatic wins, but like the one he had against Robinson earlier tonight, he's been very solid.
25 years of age, a Nashville resident. In 2023, Johnson made it to the finals with the Atlanta Attack. And this is season number 2 with his hometown squad. Originally from Talladega in Alabama. Big windup with the left hand from Robinson. Could not connect.
Yeah, Robinson is just going to have to be busier here in the second half of this round. Johnson hasn't been as busy as he was in the first match. And neither man has been precise with their punches so far in this round.
Now Robinson trying to lean on the jab. Under a minute to go in the 17th round. Nashville starting the money rounds up by 4.
There's that straight left hand from Robinson. He has a good counter left hand, but he just doesn't get it off as much as he would like. And talk about amateurs. He's a very solid amateur. He won the USA Youth Championship in 2018. He was a very solid amateur, and he's 2-0 as a pro, though he hasn't had a pro fight since outside of TBL since 2023. So this is his theater now, and he wants to make it a more successful one for him.
Both fighters missing. Left hand might be landing there from Robinson.
Yeah, and a nice,
gets one in.
And a nice, excuse me, Justin, and a nice counter right hook. That is the activity that Ray Robinson just needs more of.
Josh Johnson looked like he was disgusted with himself for letting that punch come in and land.
Yeah, he didn't want that to be the last impression on the judges' minds. And there's a counter left by Robinson that he can land. And, you know, Robinson did do a little more offensive work this time around than in their first fight. We'll see if it benefits him.
TBL fans, the winner of round 17 by way of split decision. From Nashville, Josh Johnson. Round 18 at cruiserweight, Atlanta, Money Powell. Nashville, D'Angelo Leachman.
So Josh Johnson, one of those dependable fighters we talked about at the very top, where they're having a lot of success and might be overlooked league-wide, but he gets a pair of victories tonight, and a big reason why Nashville now has a 5-point lead.
And that was the 6th split decision that Nashville has won tonight, as opposed to one of them going to Atlanta. So they've won the close ones.
Money Powell, D'Angelo Leachman doing it again, and like we mentioned, quick turnaround. They fought in round 15. Here they are in round 18. Leachman 9-1. Winner of 3 in a row. He was able to take round 15. Emilio, how did you feel about quick turnarounds in this league structure? Did you like it? Did you like to space it out? Something that we kind of always arrive at least it feels like, each event.
Yeah, I always seem to have fought, I think it was like round 4 and then being the money round, so I was always spaced out big time. It always surprises me when they come and make this big turnaround, but you can tell that the two of these guys are still in the same fight, and like that intensity has not changed. I'm seeing such an upped punch count from Money Powell, and Leachman immediately answering. I mean, this is an amazing round.
Yeah, Powell has been a little more active. He wasn't so much in their first encounter.
He's a very competitive athlete, so I'm not surprised. Money Powell does not like to lose.
Beautiful right hand sneaking in from D'Angelo Leachman.
Leachman has such a good jab that right hand.
And another right hand.
The two of them have been having conversations each round. I'm not exactly sure what they're saying, but very involved.
Powell did some good body work a moment ago. He's a very good body puncher, but the right hands of Leachman have probably caught the eye of the judges here in the second part of this round. We'll see.
Counter right from Money Powell.
The Powell uppercut, you saw it from distance where he really can't land it, but when he gets on the inside, he can land it, but he hasn't really closed the distance in this fight for Powell as much as I thought he might.
Leachman's actually done a better job of that.
Yeah. And yeah, right, I agree. Even though he likes it at long range for some things, he's also come in behind that jab.
This 18th round felt like a zip by. And we'll see what the judges have to say about the second round between D'Angelo Leachman and Money Powell.
Well, we knew one of these men was going to have a second loss on their resume this season. Good right hand was part of the calling card for Leachman, and a good counter right there by Powell. And Powell did get the second loss, but he's hoping not to get the third for this season. Good countering by Powell in spurts during that round. Powell thinks he won it.
TBL fans, the winner of round 18 by way of split decision. From Nashville, D'Angelo Leachman.
2 rounds and a backflip for D'Angelo Leachman.
Round 19 at middleweight. Atlanta, Raul Garcia. Nashville, Isaiah Elrod.
Al, 4 of the last 5 rounds have been split decision.
Yeah, 7 split decisions won by Nashville tonight, so they've done well in the close ones.
In that window that I just mentioned, Nashville's won all of those split decisions. So here's Raul Garcia, Isaiah Elrod, as Nashville has taken a 6-point lead. Elrod won the first round with Garcia back in round 7.
When these two teams faced each other the first time, Atlanta won. They're going to need power now to come back, and they won the first match between these two teams with power. There were a couple knockdowns for Atlanta in fights. Ariel Davis got a knockout. And so, you know, that was how they beat them early in the season. They're going to need to have that power reemerge if they expect to win tonight here. And Raul Garcia is the kind of guy who can do that because he does have power in both hands.
Garcia getting the right hand in on Elrod. And another right hook lands for Raul Garcia.
The Raul Garcia that in the pro ranks outside of TBL that we've seen is not someone that fights at distance as much as he's doing here. He likes to get on the inside and crank up the combinations, which we saw him do at the end of their first round.
Now, how much do you think that has to do with the opponent in front of him being 6'3"?
Yeah, no, that's true. And Elrod has done a pretty good job with his jab and staying at range.
Under a minute to go in the 19th.
And one of those split decision losses for an Atlanta fighter was the last time these two were in the ring. So it was close then, and this one's pretty close now. There's the body work by Garcia. He's capable of that.
Right hand lands a moment ago from Elrod. Couple more round wins, and Nashville can conceivably put this one to bed.
Yeah, Atlanta needs some dramatic events. And, you know, Garcia was on the inside there and just couldn't get his hands going. And here's Elrod at distance. Overhand right got in there for Garcia. And there, you see Garcia on the inside, he can work those combinations to the body and the head. But Elrod, you see him being very precise when he's got some room to punch. And a little short counter right hook, 2 of them, in fact, from Elrod.
TBL fans, the winner of round 19 by way of split decision. From Nashville, Isaiah Elrod.
Whoever heard that one before?
4 straight split decisions.
Round 20
have got Nashville's way.
at super middleweight. Atlanta, Keandre Leatherwood. Nashville, Juan Barajas.
Leatherwood and Barajas. A rematch of the 14th where Barajas won via split decision.
Well, knockdowns and knockouts are now the order of the day for Atlanta. And so this is an example of one where they are hoping they can get that from the veteran Leatherwood.
Coming up tomorrow, Week 12 coverage rolls on. A terrific match between Philadelphia and Boston.
Yeah, that should be a really good one. Those two teams have a history with each other, and they will battle it out. Leachman has a pretty good left hook, and I think if there's a punch that you got a good right hand as well, but I think against Barajas, if you could crank up a couple of those left hooks, he might be able to do something that would hurt him, maybe create a knockdown. Though Barajas is a very durable fighter.
Barajas determined to box right here against Leatherwood. He is not going to come inside on Keandre Leatherwood. Doesn't have to.
Yeah, that could be a team decision as much as a Juan Barajas decision, and that's where the TBL is so fascinating, because boxers that would normally not think of those kind of things, they do as a team member.
It could be style. It could be from the head coach. And if it is, it also could be connected to the head-to-head score.
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now, if you're Nashville, you don't want to put yourself in that type of danger when you don't have to.
Yeah, precisely. And that would be, and Barajas is usually an active fighter. He's not a brawler, but he's active. And, you know, he's not going to mute that offense, but you're right. He'll maybe not take so many chances.
Barajas boxing at length here in the 20th round. And a quality combo from Juan Barajas, and as soon as he comes inside, he gets clipped by Leatherwood.
Yeah, Leatherwood also, I mentioned his left hook. He's got a good overhand right, and that's gotten in from time to time, but the clock is not his friend here in terms of making something big happen in this round.
Too often tonight, Al, we have seen the right hand holstered by too many fighters.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's funny you said, I was thinking the same thing. And we saw Leatherwood toward the end of that throw a beautiful combination with a hook and a right. There it is. And the hook, the straight right hand that, you know, kind of got there on the neck. But you're right. We've seen a lot of fighters that just can't quite get that punch going. Devin Young was a perfect example in his heavyweight battle.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of round 20 by way of unanimous decision, from Atlanta, Keandre Leatherwood. The score,
So Keandre
Nashville
Leatherwood
14.
breaks the schneid for Atlanta. It is a 14-8 Nashville lead as we close out the final 4 rounds next. Atlanta 8. Let's go to round 21. Back with Ray Flores.
Round 21 in the featherweight division. Atlanta's Chantel Sumrall. Nashville, Jennifer Clashes.
Sumrall and Clashes, their second rounds of the evening, though not against one another. Clashes victorious over Kaylee-Ann Knight, who had some tough luck on this night for Atlanta. Chantel Sumrall lost to Shelby Cannon in the first round.
Yeah, two very close losses for Knight. And interesting and entertaining fights. And Clashes did a really good job in that round against her, because she was in trouble early, but then came back in it. And Sumrall facing the exact, as did Knight, facing the exact same fighter in effect as she did when she faced Shelby Cannon. Clashes a left-hander, bare knuckles experience, got a good right hook, good straight left hand. It's the same thing.
And what's interesting, as we wind things down here, we're going lighter in weight. We're at 126 pounds. Then at lightweight, and then now finishing off with bantamweight. And with Nashville ahead by 6, Amelia is standing by with the head coach of the Nashville Smash, Fred Dulay.
Coach Fred, we had talked earlier in the locker room about the mentality of your team, especially fighting at home. How you feel like they're starting to really deliver tonight?
I do. I feel like the whole time, the whole night, they've been really inspired, fighting stronger and harder than they ever fought. This is our best night, best performance of the year so far. They just fought with all kinds of heart. I love it.
And I know you had told them this is one of those back against the wall. You guys have to make this move, or it kind of closes out getting into the postseason finals.
Yes. Without a win, it's hard to be in the playoffs. Let's just face it. So we had to come out here inspired, and we had to fight, and get the job done tonight. So far, we've done it. We got some very tough rounds to go. It's going to be still close, even though we're up on the scorecards. We're not taking our foot off the gas.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Justin?
Fred Delay putting in perspective as Sumrall sneaks in a left hand. So Nashville very much keeping their playoff hopes alive, barring a terrific comeback here from Atlanta in the final few rounds.
Yeah, Clashes, by the way, has been stopped in TBL action this year, but I don't know if Sumrall is the kind of puncher right now that could do that. Sumrall's throwing some nice straight lefts. They're not quite getting there, but she's trying with that punch. And there it is, and that one got home, and another one.
Punch just slips out of the way, angles out. Sumrall continuing to throw hands.
Sumrall got the memo, but that you need to make something happen, and she's had a very good second part of this round.
Going for broke. If it lands, it lands. And that's how the round concludes. You're right, a much better second half to that round for Chantel Sumrall.
Now, as we wind down here, you know, they have to get some kind of power, obviously. Just wins by Atlanta's not going to do it, but Sumrall did have good moments in that second part. There was a left hand by Clashes that got there, and there's the straight left by Sumrall. So if Sumrall could win this decision, it would keep them kind of alive, with Jeremy Hill still part of the equation, maybe, to provide
Ladies
some power.
and gentlemen, the winner of round 21 by way of unanimous decision, from the Nashville Smash, Jennifer Clashes. The score, Nashville 15, Atlanta 8. Round 22 at lightweight, Atlanta, Traquan Pettis. Nashville, Ray Diaz.
Pettis and Diaz fighting in round 22. 7-point cushioned here for Nashville. And they seem to be on their way to win number 2 on the season, a much needed second win. There's been some chirpiness right from the get-go between these two.
Well, Pettis won their first encounter, and they're still jawing at each other. And they had some spirited exchanges in that first matchup. I mentioned that this is Diaz's debut in TBL, undefeated as a pro outside of team boxing, so he'd love to get a win tonight from his, going along with that loss.
Ray Diaz, 26 years of age, and plenty of amateur experience. They're going to get a warning from Danny Ziemba.
Danny Ziemba is, how shall I put this, the most active referee. And we've seen him during the course of the season. That's a euphemism. Good counter left hook there by Pettis, and he has landed some good power punches in the two fights against Diaz. I don't think he's had him hurt at any point, but he's landed some really good power shots.
Pettis first with the jab.
Talked about the amateur career of Diaz. Pettis was in against Gary Antoine Russell, Boots Ennis, and others during his amateur career.
An Olympic qualifier.
Yeah. Right now he's thinking, how do I generate some power to get a 2-pointer or a 4-pointer here?
Atlanta trails by 7. They were within 1 at the end of round 13. And then a handful of split decisions went in favor of the Nashville Smash. It's been a close night, although it's not exactly reflected in the overall team score.
Yeah, if you look at the score, you'd think it was dominated by Nashville, and they have fought very well. But there's so many close fights here tonight. And whether Pettis has won this round, which he might have, he didn't produce the power that they would have liked and needed.
Atlanta mathematically still alive as Pettis rocks Ray Diaz with that right hand.
That was a beauty.
That's probably the best punch of the round. Putting his hands up as if to say, what do I do? What? No.
Well, this was Pettis using these jabs to set up a right hand that got in, and then later on he does the exact same move and the right hand gets in even better. So 2-point jabs, as a setup.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of round 22 by way of split decision, from Atlanta, Traquan Pettis.
Pettis with the win. Nashville up 15-9.
Our penultimate money round will be in the lightweight division. For Atlanta, Jeremy Hill. Nashville, Roger Hilly.
Hill and Hilly doing battle for the second round tonight. Back in round 10, Jeremy Hill scored a unanimous decision, had a knockdown over Hilly. And for Roger Hilly, he just needs to stay on his feet in this round, and Nashville will have wrapped up the team win.
Yeah, I mean, Hill needs a knockdown to give them hope, and a knockout more preferably. Hilly has never been stopped in the pro ranks, whether outside of TBL or within it.
That's the thing, Al. It is obviously a super steep hill for Atlanta to climb right now. But what we've seen with our eyes, again, not reflective in the score. So when you look at the last 2 rounds here, odds are, if you're going to get a stoppage, you want it to be here with Jeremy Hill, not with Tuatupo and Ortega coming up.
This is the one that is more likely because Hill is a power puncher. We've seen him put Roger Hilly down, so it's more plausible. And you know, when you look back at this match, obviously, if 3 or 4 of those split decisions that went Nashville's way had gone to Atlanta, you'd be talking a little bit differently, but they didn't. And they did win 2 of the split decisions did go to Atlanta of the 10 that we've seen tonight. Now, the interesting thing, he almost did it. I was going to say the knockdown came when Hill fought as a lefty. And so I wonder if he's going to switch back to that style again. It was the right hook that knocked Hilly down.
We're seeing more of Hilly in the pocket in front of Jeremy Hill and kind of just covering up, not throwing much, but as far as distance goes, he's staying right in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, Roger Hilly is a come-forward guy. And so even with this situation that we've talked about team-wise, where maybe it's better for him to box more, he's not really a boxer. He's a boxer-puncher, and he's going to be in the pocket. But he's not taking a lot of chances, which was part of the point you made. He's in there, but mostly covering up.
Left hand comes in from Roger Hilly.
Intriguing that not one moment in this round has Hill turned to the lefty stance, and that was so successful for him in the previous round.
And Hilly teeing off, going for broke over the final 20 seconds, still letting the hands fly. They've made a minimal impact on Jeremy Hill.
When Roger Hilly has a fighter on the ropes, that's what he does. And I don't think you can, again, landing a nice straight left.
Yeah. Oh, and a big right hand that rocks Hill, but Hill continuing to punch. It was a good exchange over the last half minute of the round.
Well, that was not a safety first round for Roger Hilly, as maybe you might expect with Nashville having that big lead. And it's very conceivable that Hilly won that round. And this was where Hilly was going to town on the ropes. Not everything landed, and a lot didn't, but there was still a lot of aggression there. And then in the end of the round, though, Hilly would land a really good right hook. I mean, that was a beauty. And yet another one as Hill was attacking him, again, from the right-handed stance.
TBL fans, the winner of round 23 by way of split decision. From Nashville, Roger Hilly. Round 24 at bantamweight for Atlanta, Hainati Tuitupu, Nashville, Bianca Ortega.
So round 23 actually was won by Jeremy Hill, not Roger Hilly. So a split decision goes to Jeremy Hill and to Atlanta, and it's 15-10 going into the final round. So Hilly does not win, but Nashville has secured the overall win with Ortega and Tuitupu colliding here in round 24.
Yeah, even a knockout would not get them there, and Atlanta. And as we pointed out, that isn't top of mind in this fight in any case, although it's not impossible, certainly. And a point now about why these boxing matches, these rounds matter, even when the team total has been decided. when you're in a playoff situation, if Atlanta could get itself back into it, the overall point totals are important.
This is the highest point total for Nashville since their last win on April 17th when they scored 18 over Phoenix. Second highest point total overall on the season. And Ortega coming through with some punch. Both women finding landing spots here.
They've both done a little more offensive work earlier in the round than they did in the last encounter. The last time they did get good offensive work done kind of later in the round.
Final 90 seconds to go between Tuatupou and Ortega.
Tuatupou landed a nice straight right hand there. That is her go-to punch. She can land that shot.
These two have done a good job punching with one another in certain points, but Tuatupou maybe a step or two ahead.
Yeah, that's probably a fair assessment. And Tuatupou now, who has not lost yet in Team Boxing League, now 3-0, trying to make it 4-0.
Oh, connected well on Ortega moments ago.
Good left hook, and that might have stunned Ortega.
Final 40 seconds to play with here in round 24. Tuatupou sweep these 2 rounds as Ortega gets some licks in. And another counter right hand lands from Tuatupou. Good action to close out the match here in Nashville. And another right hand brushes the chin of Ortega.
Yeah, they exchanged right hands there. And you're right, this one's been a fun round to watch.
The accuracy from Tuatupou's really stood out.
Yeah, she's been very, very precise with her punches. Ortega's had good moments offensively, but Tuatupou, who is a pretty accurate puncher in general, may have done a better job in that regard. And some coaching by Fred DeLay at this point. Ortega coming forward and throwing lots of punches. She did land some punches, and they both land right hands there, but Tuatupou with some good, solid rights.
TBL fans, the winner of round 24 by way of unanimous decision. From Atlanta, Haineti
Tuatupou wins 2 rounds tonight. She moves to 4-0, but the Nashville Smash, the winners in the head-to-head competition as the Smash pick up their 2nd win of the season, 15-11 the final. We'll be back to wrap it up after this. Team Boxing League is brought to you by Balance of Nature. In boxing, consistency beats intensity. Balance of Nature supplements help you stay consistent with ingredients of whole foods you could easily slot into your daily routine. Go to balanceofnature.com, use code TEAM, and start today. Nashville takes it 15-11. Time now for our Star of the Fight, brought to you by Balance of Nature. Came early. Round number 5. Only action of the night for Jasir Riley, and the rookie continues to impress.
He got his 8th win this season with that right hand, making it a 2-point win over Javon Davis. The second time this year he's beat him, and it was a brilliant performance by this young man.
Let's go back inside to Municipal Auditorium with Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Municipal Auditorium here in Nashville, Tennessee, your final score, the Nashville Smash 15, the Atlanta Attack 11. Here are your 3 stars of the fight. Your number 3 star, Atlanta Attack lightweight, Jeremy Hill. Number 2 star, Nashville Smash featherweight, Shelby Cannon. Balance of Nature, number 1 star, Nashville Smash welterweight, Jasir Riley. And round of the night, round number 7 between Raul Garcia and Isaiah Elrod.
Coach Dulé, we talked a little bit about the mentality. We went over it in the locker room. Can you give me some thoughts on how your team delivered and how you feel about tonight?
Man, first, let me just say thanks for everybody to come out. We had a great crowd. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you next year. We can't do it without y'all. Yeah, you know, we had to dig deep. This is a good Atlanta team. We knew our back was against the wall, so we went out there. We all had to dig deep and get the job done. Everybody knew it. It was different this time. We've had to win. We were 1-4, so we had to win. But today was a real eye-opener. We all had to dig deep.
So looking at the 8th seed, it really kind of depends on differential right now. There's a couple more fights to go, but how do you feel about getting yourself into the playoffs, you know, once the whole field is set?
Well, you know, this certainly helped us. It helped our positioning. We got two tough fights, one in Miami and then one in Houston. I feel good. We came out here and we competed well against Miami right here. We're going to go down there and we're going to give them everything that they want. One thing for sure is Nashville Smash is going to come out and fight an inspired fight. We got some real talent on this team from top to bottom, so you know we're going to be in every single fight, and Miami knows it. That's what happened last time.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Coach. It's always about being there and being fully, you know, locked in with your team, and I always see that from you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Ms. Cannon. So, question for you, because a lot of the times when people are watching, I understand, but they don't understand what it's like to prepare for 2 completely different styles of opponents. Can you just kind of run us through, because your aggression and your ring control said it all tonight?
Yeah, I think in this sport for TBL, it makes a difference being able to see your opponent fight another opponent before you're up against them. So there's just a lot of different things with TBL, and I think being able to see your opponent prior to getting in with them makes a big difference. Southpaw orthodox, I think when we're in the gym, we're already getting ready. It's just getting in here, throwing hands, and then making the adjustments when you're in here. 3 minutes isn't long, but it's long enough to get the job done, so I'm just happy to be here.
Great work tonight, and congratulations on 2 dominant rounds. Jasir, your team needed you tonight. How important was it for you to go in there and just perform very well?
It's always important for me to go in there and perform well, because I feel like I'm the best 147-pounder in TBL, and I'm the best boxer in the whole program, so I just got to show it every time I go out there.
So I just want to ask one more question of you. You were very patient in there. A lot of times Javon Davis is very slick. People tend to chase him. You didn't chase him. It looked like you were trying to set up that right hand, and I think even I was listening to the commentary over it, they even said, when is he going to let it go, because it's very strong.
Yeah, when I go in there, I'm always trying to set my opponents up, and yeah, he's slick, but he was up in there. He was up against it. He was against the best. So my jab, it was just dominant, and I knew he couldn't get past it. So I just kept it going, kept listening to my corner, and waited for the right hand to come in, and it did.
Excellent work, and you're even patient through your interviews. It's just how he is, guys. Thank you so much, Justin, and Al, back to you.
Thanks so much, Amelia. Yasir Riley declaring himself the top welterweight in Team Boxing League. Got the extra points tonight. Now, here we go. Latest standings, Nashville now 2-4, right on the doorstep. So this win, obviously, very important.
Yeah, they like the New York attitude. They got a big win last week. They got this important win. They won 8 of 11 split decisions.
Nashville Smash take it 15-11, and they do so by decisively winning the split decisions. They go 8-3 in rounds that were finalized by split decisions.
Yeah, I mean, the hallmark of tonight, and you said it best, is while the score went for Nashville, the fact is we had a really even night of boxing, but one team had to come out of here with that all-important win to help them for the playoffs. It was Nashville.
The Smash, they jump out to the lead, and they are able to secure a 15-11 win. Tomorrow, Team Boxing League rolls on in Week 12. They head to New England for a much-anticipated rematch between Sage Rosario and the Boston Butchers. Them taking on Stacia Suttles and the Philadelphia Smoke. Philadelphia trying to maintain its standing atop the league leaderboard. All starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific here on TBL Team Boxing League. For Al Bernstein, Amelia Moore, our entire crew, I'm Justin Shackle. We'll talk to you tomorrow on TBL.
Stepped away from a career in chemistry to pursue. Jasir, you've had an amazing season already.